man of the motherfucking hour.
Jesus Christ. Hold on, let me prep my shit. Hold on. The computer focuses a different way. All right. I think, let me see if I could tilt it the other way, actually. Let's see. Something like this, maybe. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
I see you, bro. I see you, bro.
Thanks, man. How goes it?
Oh, it's dope. Looking good. You looking good.
Thank you, buddy. All right, something like that.
All right, man. How you doing?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know how I'm doing. Shit is fucking wild out here, bro.
Where you at now? In LA?
I'm in LA, yeah.
LA?
Yep.
That's what's up. Well, first and foremost, man, I want to welcome you to the Acquired Taste podcast. Really appreciate you stopping by, man. I know you're a busy man. So I know just taking the time out to talk to us, you know, you're probably missing some money. So I appreciate that.
No problem.
So first off, man, because you know you're an Ohio guy, okay? I seen the Ohio,
yes, sir.
I seen the Ohio Hip Hop Award on your wall back there.
Yeah, Executive of the Year, 2016. That's like, that means a great deal to me. Like, more so than like my Grammy nomination with DMX. Like, I'm recognized as the best at what I do in a state from where I come from. Like, how many people can say that? You are the absolute best at what you do. You know?
Facts. And from what I see, I mean there's no lie there.
Thank you.
That's the absolute truth, man. And like I said, I've been following you for years, bro. I've probably been following you for at least 10 plus years, man. Because one of the reasons I follow you is because it seems like you A&R all the artists that I love. You know what I'm saying? Like, first off, the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, I grew up with the Wu.
Thank you.
So just by every time I see you, you like, well, you got the Wu shirts on, like you be rapping for real. And I see you just A&R'd, or you just dropped that Ghostface.
The Ghostface was a 5-year anniversary re-release.
Okay.
But to date, that's the record I'm most proud of, because the biggest budget album I did before that was 2005 Wu-Tang meets Indie Culture. Now, that was my first ever attempt at working behind the scenes as an A&R, as an A&R admin, as an executive, outside of making an M80 album, you know, where I'm the artist, plus I know how to do all this shit. So Wu-Tang Indie Culture, that was none of my own money. That was Dreddy and investors and stuff. And then the deal was brokered with Baby Grand. So he was recouped 100% and already in profit before the album came out. So that taught me a lot about how to like budget financially to make these albums. And then, you know, you have to take the risk yourself. You have to believe in the product, you know, and a lot of artists seem to not have a grasp of that, because all they see is people getting money and think that every record deal is supposed to be for 6-7 figures and every show is supposed to be for 5 figures and better, and they're not willing to work their way up the pole. So I came up with the idea for the Ghostface album, and originally it was a Ghostface album with Killah Priest and produced by Big Ghost. Now, Ghostface, two things, immediately took issue with Big Ghost being the producer, because if you don't remember at home, for a lot of years, Big Ghost was the blogger that pretended he was Ghostface. And he'd make these blog posts like sounding like Ghostface, like, yo, fam, what's up, man? This is, you know, Cocaine Biceps, B, like, and you know, who's the 10 softest rappers in the game, man? Tyga is Johnson & Johnson, Lubriderm soft, son, and like make fun of all these people, and then Ghostface would get the backlash. But it really wasn't Ghostface, you know, but people believed it because when you read the blog post, you'd read it how you think Ghostface would sound.
Right, and he kind of sounds like Ghost.
So Ghostface took issue with that at first, with Big Ghost being the producer. Then he looked at my budget report and he was like, okay, well, I'll take all this money. So what's Priest supposed to make? And it's like, that was the budget for the whole shit. Priest was mad at me and not Ghost. And it's like, that didn't make any fucking sense to me. I did this with, you two in mind together. But I'm not going to just increase the budget like crazily. Like, dude, it was already the most amount of money I'd ever spent making any one album by a long shot. I spent double what it cost to make Wu-Tang Indie Culture. And that has RZA and MF Doom and all sorts of members of Wu-Tang Clan and all sorts of members of the industry elites, you know, independent underground, like Dell and Aesop Rock and so on and so forth. So it's like I spent double that shit. Now Wu-Tang Indie Culture made $1 million plus. My goal with the Ghostface album was to make $400,000. So when I laid out the program to him, I was like, if we do this together, we could split this amount of money. He's like, I know you know what you're talking about. I just don't see it how you see it. So like, just pay me X and I'll do it. Now I could have saved half the budget if I would have just had Bronze Nazareth produce it or something. He really took issue with it being Ghostface and Big Ghost because of all that stigma I told you about. I had to go back to the drawing board and think to myself, can I really make money at this investment level? Knowing that, remember that your budget, it's like when you people that buy and flip homes, it's never what it seems. You always have added expenses. Like we didn't initially have Snoop Dogg and E40 and Big Daddy Kane on it. Those are obviously big expenditures, you know. But then I came up with the the notion. Yes, I can make the money. Worst case scenario, I break even and can say I executive produced a Ghostface Killer album. But I decided to make the full-length album and then do the remix album, which was Bronze Nazareth and Agalaw, and then just like the supplementals, like the instrumentals, a double disc CD with the album and instrumentals, then the 5-year anniversary. Now the reason we did this, and I had to explain to Ghost, because I did certain distribution, record deals, content licensing deals, and again, this could never be replicated either. I did like 5 or 6 different deals for the same album with different companies granting them different rights. Again, it's like some Wu-Tang shit where it's like RZA signed to Loud, not because they gave him the most money, but because it availed him to the most opportunity. So I went with who was going to give me the most leeway and opportunity to do what I wanted to do. And that's unheard of. I could honestly never replicate that move again. So I give this company the derivative rights, which is the rights to press the physicals for the remix album. I gave this company the digital rights for both the lost tapes and for the Ghost Files. Then I give this company overseas the vinyl rights, the CD rights, like a variant CD, the cassette tape rights. Then I give this company the rights to do the album with the instrumentals. Then I kept rights to do the merch and CDs and autographed posters. So it's like the income streams were coming in like crazy from that. And like I said, I'm grateful it happened in the time frame it happened, because I could never ever replicate 5, 6 record deals for the same project, guaranteeing, literally when I brokered the deal for the Ghost Files, that reimbursed me in full. And now I have these 4 other deals and streams to eat off of and make it make sense. But yeah, I wish I could write a book about the making of that album and the aftermath of that album, because I feel like Wu-Tang is a very humongous circle. You got your core members, you got the fam members, and the fam members have their fam, and everyone's got their own group. But it's like, I know I do great business. I've A&R'd 40 plus Wu-Tang products between the clan, the generals, the family, the whole nine. But it's like, not everyone that's on the outside looking in or works in the business for a particular member is an M80 fan at all. And that just goes with, I have to walk that path every day. Who fucks with me? Who doesn't fuck with me? Do they fucking matter to me? And proceed.
Exactly. Sounds good. Well, you know what? Because you gave us a lot of information there. So before we go any further, can you just give us a breakdown of who you are and how you became one of the biggest hip hop A&Rs in the industry?
My name is Matthew M80 Markoff, born and raised in the Midwest between Toledo, Ohio, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Been rapping since I was 13. I'm 42 as of this past November. And
happy belated.
Thank you, sir. I was just like a freestyle artist. I didn't write a song until after like 3 years of just freestyling. And I always used to get into ciphers and battles and stuff in the commons in school between middle school and high school. And when I started rapping, like making songs, it was on a karaoke machine. And you know, like I remember the very first beat I ever rapped over was on the Chronic, like Dr. Dre and Snoop, Nothing But a G Thing, okay? And then just like other shits from there. And CD burners weren't a thing yet. Like CDs were out in the market like that. Remember they used to come in the big cardboards? Like kids have no idea today, man.
No,
Like if you go on eBay and look up a copy of the Chronic sealed in a big cardboard thing, it's like $3,000.
right. It's
Yeah.
classic. That's a classic album.
You know, so I would literally record an album with no like mixing and mastering involved, period, and like dub the cassette tapes in my parents' basement and go from there. And I just would put out a CD or a tape every year and sell them throughout the school year. And then whatever money I made is what I made, and then move on to the next. My first album that was on CD and distributed in stores throughout the Midwest was called The 11th Hour. I'm sorry, The Expert Explosive. Then I did a brief stint in prison. A lot of people don't know that about me, and I never talk about it unless it's brought up randomly. But I was in prison for 6 months and wrote like every fucking day. Now people always ask me what my experience in prison was like. And they want to hear like horror stories and stuff, but it was the exact opposite of horror stories because everyone in prison works. Everyone has to have a job. I went to prison when I was at IUPUI college, and I was the elected student body president. So when I went to prison, I had the highest educational degree. And so I was given the job of GED tutor. So if you're in my GED class and you get your GED, you get a 6-month time cut, okay? So I was the safest kept motherfucker in prison, bro.
Right.
And now this is some other crazy shit. I was in an all-black gang called the Wolfpack. So it did get uncomfortable at times because the whites viewed me as a race traitor. But I didn't want to be with the whites because they're all fucking Aryans and I'm Jewish. Like, that's insane. Like, I'm never going to subscribe to that way of thinking, even like if death is imminent. I would die first, like on some Holocaust shit. Like, I'm not going to fucking denounce my religion to live a lie. Like, that's never going to happen. So I got fucking mad diesel in prison, bro. I came out like I bench pressed like 275. Like I think that's the only time motherfuckers feared me, you know. But now they're just like M80's just like, you know, don't start no shit, won't be no shit kind of guy with them. It's what it is, you know. I just want to get my work done, do my shit, but people keep trying to, you know, be problems in my life for whatever reason. Got out of prison and just kept making these albums. And I did a show in Indianapolis for the release of Snakes in the Garden of 80. And I sold out a venue on my own because all the kids in college, it was a venue that was like 18 and up. So all the college kids could come. If you're 21 up, you can drink. If not, you're still in the building. A lot of those clubs don't exist. So from that one show, I was getting booked all over Indianapolis. And then I was doing a show downtown Indy at this club called Tiki Bob's one night. And I walked past the Cube where I did my release party and saw that there was a Wu-Tang flyer on there. And it's like Raekwon, Inspector Deck, Capadonna, Killer Priest, Remedy, La the Dark Man, coming like 2 nights in a row. So I went inside. I'm like, you got to put me on this show. Like, I love Wu-Tang. I know their music front to back. Like, they're like, oh, of course we'll put you on. Like, if they don't sell it out, you'll sell it out. Like, beautiful. Right. So did the show the first night. It was indoors. And then hung out with Priest and Cap and everyone afterwards. Solomon Childs was there. And brought my giant CD book of Wu-Tang records. There's like 400 some CDs in this at this point. And like Solomon's like, how do you have that album? Like, I don't even have that. And I'm talking to Priest about things I like and don't like about previous projects. And they're like, yo, are you going to be here tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, I'm opening them up. So they all watched my set the next night. And the tour manager, his name was Marty Diamond, AKA Marty Laporte. And he was like, if you want to finish out this tour with me, you can. So I'm in college. I got classes like Monday, Wednesday, Friday at like 9:30 in the morning. And I still went and did like 10 additional shows, just did my performance, sold merch, said what's up to the guys, like wouldn't even get to see the whole set sometimes. And then would have to drive back to Indy to make sure I made class the next day. I missed one class ever between high school, college, and law school. So we're talking like 10 years of schooling. I missed one class.
Jeez.
Ever. And the one class I missed was in law school It was Valentine's Day, and I flew to New York to see Wu-Tang Clan at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and flew back and missed one class. That was it, but it was fucking worth it. Of course.
But it was what I say, but it was worth it. So
so worth it. But from that tour, Marty was handling other tours. So it's like I did that tour and did like a dozen dates. Then I do a couple dates with Ghostface. I do a couple dates with Meth, a couple dates with Jizza. And that's when I met Dreddy. We did a show in Chicago at the Metro. I ended up doing a bunch of shows at the Metro. In fact, the first time I ever opened up for Wu-Tang Clan as a whole was at the Metro. And I met Dreddy, and Dreddy wanted to launch Think Differently Music. So that was his brainchild. And I'm like, I want in. Like, I never sold Wu-Tang on, I'm a dope rapper. Like, fuck with me. Like, I have songs with Priest and Dreddy on my 2003 album, The 11th Hour. But other than that, as I met Jizza, Meth, Ghost, RZA, all these people, I never sold them on that foot. Like, Master Killer told me, and we were in a meeting in Sundance. This was like 3 years ago when they dropped the show on Showtime, the Wu-Tang, the 4-part docuseries. He's like, I had no idea you rap, and we have like 2 or 3 songs together. You know, because I never was like super vocal about it. It's like I stepped to these people with business first, so they would respect me as the business. Then if the rap shit came about later, so be it. You know, and I end up having songs with like the majority of them. Like I got a song with RZA, I got songs with Ghost. Wait, no, with Master Killer, with Priest, with Cap. You know, we did Almighty 2 with Cap. So it's like that's how I got my start with Wu-Tang. And I feel like, you know, I have a few Wu-Tang records left that are like the Master Killer album, Balance is done. I A&R'd the single on it. I did the A-side, B-side single for Master Killer's Selling My Soul. We have new product from Wild the Dark Man, War Cloud for next year, and Mathematics. There's a whole album on Mathematics I A&R'd. He works only 3 or 4 albums at a time. I think that will probably like wrap up my Wu-Tang saga. Okay. By that point, I'll be like 45 some albums in, and they're at a different pace than me right now. Like they're reliving all the glory days, like touching more money than I think they ever touched before. And you know, it's like a family, and I don't think I'm part of that inclusive Staten Island, Brooklyn, New York family. Right. But it's like the ones who respect me and let it be known when they see me, like between the clan, the group, and the management and stuff. And those that don't also make it very vocal. And, you know, I'll take the good with the bad every time, because, again, just like you said, I'm working with your artists that were your dream artists. These were my dream artists. And when I decided to start my A&R firm, it was a blessing for me to be able to bring clientele in that I grew up admiring these dudes. Like, do you think when my brother picked me up in his red Mercury Tracer and we were bumping Doggy Style on cassette, that I ever fathomed that one day I'd work with Snoop Dogg? Come on. Or that like my family would get to meet him, or like we'd be having dinner with members of Wu-Tang or Snoop or Corrupt or whoever it might be. Like I've lived out all my dreams as an artist. Have a Guinness World Record. I've toured America. I've performed overseas. I've had M80 albums, M80 Almighty and M80 and Almighty albums that made Billboard charts. Like, so as far as me as an artist, you know, people like sometimes shit on my career, like, oh, you weren't all that. Bro, you don't understand. Like, I live in reality. So I have to determine how far I think I can go, and I'm willing to take it. I don't want to be the biggest rapper in the world at age 42. My last project came out in 2019, and it was my highest charting EP, or like project period. It debuted Billboard Top 40. And that was my most scaled back shit. That didn't have Wu-Tang on it and Gucci Man and fucking, you know, Redman and people like that. It was an EP called the Toledo EP that featured me. Like, I'm essentially the biggest star of the album, which is rare for me with all the features I do. Other guest artists and producers, all from Toledo. And I put like $1,000 into marketing, and I put like $1,000 into some videos and shit, and an actual music video, a lyric video, and I used all my connections, bro, and it took off.
That's awesome. That's real good. That's real dope. So speaking of the artists and things of that nature, because let's just get into it. I had told you that I seen some of the things that you've been going back and forth online about. And the reason that it caught my attention was because I had also invested in some verses. I invested in the Benny the Butcher verse, and I invested in Conway, and I invested in some other ones. And the reason it caught my attention is because, like I say, I know who you are, and I don't know them, but I'm doing business with them through the internet.
Yes,
And
sir.
at this point in time, I pay them, they give me what I want, I leave it out. You know what I mean? But what I wanted to ask you, because it seems as though you were pretty upset about something that has gone on with the whole verse thing. And I don't just want to touch on that, but I also want you to let people know how beneficial these verses and things are, because this ain't something that just comes around, all the time. Like from what I see, this is something that you kind of got to be somebody who knows somebody in order to, make these type of things happen. But I did see that there was a little discrepancy between you and, I believe it's Anno Damani and Temper Beat.
No, Anno is my people.
Okay.
Anno and I met like literally when AOL Instant Messenger was a thing.
Damn.
Okay? Like that's how far back we go. Like when SoundClick was a thing. All right.
Okay.
Anno lived in Germany. Then he lived in United Kingdom. And when I met him, I was like, we were doing super volume, bro. Like for people on the internet, there's only one person I've ever done business with still to this day. Like I'm talking about like consistent business that I've never met. And that's Matt Conway of Mac Media Pro. He's done like literally 50 plus PR campaigns for albums I've worked on. We've never met in real life. I'm talking about like, hey man, I put like $50,000 to $100,000 in your pocket and we haven't met. That's nuts to me. So Anno and I were at that level, and I'm like, you need to move to America. And he's like, that's crazy you'd say that because I've been thinking about it. So I got him letters of recommendation from like record labels and artists we've worked with so he could get his work visa. And I'd never met his family, but of course his mom and dad were like, who's this American dude like telling you to move and leave us?
Right.
So Anno eventually, long story short, met a girl, they got married, they have children now. And at his wedding, I met his parents, and they're like, we didn't like you at first, but like you helped our find a soulmate. I'm very protective of Anno because I think I'm a good person, like deep rooted. Anno is a great person.
Okay.
He's the most quality human being I've ever met. Like, a lot of the headache that he gets comes from like how I act online, or like, he's just the nicest fucking guy, and he'll explain something to you 100 times till you're satisfied with the result and like you understand. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Like Jesus Christ, so
Right.
I'm that. And then the people complain to him about me, and it's like, but whatever. So you named the Benny pack and the Conway pack, which is crazy to name those two, because those were authorized by me. I was paid. I did my job for those. So Anno referred Temper to me. Temper wants to do the beats and verses packages. Talk to him and see if it's worth it, for us to do. And if I make $1 and Anno refers a project to me, cool. Like over here, Forever MC. This album, I think, came out in 2018. Anno referred me like, hey, I want you to meet this guy. And Forever MC is a real person. It's not just the name of the album, but we tried to market it for the longest time, kind of like your old Droog and Nas, where it was a mystery. But once we started marketing the album after I broke the record deal, the Forever MC guy was like, commenting on all the people's posts, like, I'm really Forever MC. I can't wait to hear my album. And that kind of like threw people off because they're like, who's this white dude? Like, damn. Like, but it's okay. The album still did amazing. I think it's made over $750,000. But when Anno first referred it to me and I was talking to him and at first he just wanted a verse or two. Then it turned into like, let's make this whole album. I gave Anno $20,000 just for the fucking referral. Like, that's good business. I didn't know what I was going to make or not, but like, I knew it was going to be so substantial. So Anno introduced me to Temper. And the first pack we do, I think, has like 5 or 6 rappers in it, like Twins and Jaron Benton and Priest and Capadonna and Compton Menace. Then we do another pack. He comes back. So clearly it made money because he's coming back. The next one is like Onyx and, you know, so on and so forth, all these additional people. Then he wanted Havoc to do like a solo stand-up one. Havoc agreed to it, but then backed out. And Havoc's done that to us a couple times. So when I hit Havoc now for work, it's just when I need a straight feature. No beats and verses back shit. So clearly he is an artist that's opposed to the licensing idea. So we got Joel Ortiz in Havoc's place, and Temper was thrilled. Then we did the Benny pack, and that shit, you know, was hectic. It took long, and you know, Benny has a different contract situation. He has his rights with Empire and Griselda and BSF, and then he has Def Jam. So it's like, what can and can't we do? And Temper, I think, kind of got upset about that because, you know, it wasn't just as easy breezy as dealing with a group of independent artists.
Right.
But that's the guy you wanted. You still made money. Fantastic. Then they wanted Conway. It was supposed to be Conway and Chief Keef. So we get the Conway feature done. As I said in my video today, like, I really went out of my way to like make him happy and make that a go. The day of the session, they wanted me to fly to Buffalo, and that was my wife's mom's funeral. So there's no way I'm skipping that to go to a fucking rap recording session. It could be Jay-Z and Dr. Dre and me, and I'm not going. Okay.
I feel
Ak, my friend that brokered the Bennyverse, that brokered the work for Conway. I paid him, and Temper reimbursed me, so that was nice. I'm not gonna act like he didn't. I paid Ak to go fly to Buffalo for the session and fly. He flew there and back the same day. So Temper could get the files, the video files, the sign off, all that shit, and be happy. In fact, Ak put up his own money and I had to pay him back. Very amazing person. People are fucking scared to put their own money into anything. Then Temper says he's coming to America and has me meet him at DJ Flip's studio. Now, they want fucking Chief Keef. And I can get him. I make the phone calls literally right there in their face. You know, we can do this today if you got the cash. We want X. Well, X was like $5,000 more than they want to spend. And then I'm like, you know, on top of that, you have to pay me. And they're like, how much are you getting paid? I'm like, 10, at least 10%. 15 would be nice, but 10. So they're like, damn, well, we definitely can't do it. So we're negotiating with Chief Keef's people. It's not going to happen. Like, then the guy, we do get it to happen, but DJ Flip, this is the funniest shit ever. Just like I say I own the IP and the service marks and trademarks for beats and features packages, right. He's like, oh, yeah, well, I invented like being the guy in the video doing the thing with the hands. I'm like, I was cracking up. I thought he was making a joke, but he was dead serious. And he got mad at me when he got mad at me when I was laughing at it. And on the same call, I got mad at him because he was laughing when I was telling him how serious I was about this shit's my baby. I invented it. I'm not going to let you or anyone steal it from me. And that's I'm fast forwarding in the story. But so Boosie comes, they're able to get Boosie. He's like driving in from Vegas. I'm there and he comes and I have to explain to him the ins and outs of the contract because he's never done anything like this before. You know, it's not for everybody. Right. We've worked with artists that regret being a part of it. And we work with artists that were totally grateful for the paycheck. To each his own. Boosie does the verse and they end up making a killing. Okay. After that, I'm in the hot tub one night. I remember doing a live and someone tells me, like, have you seen this fucking email from Temper? Like they're about to drop the biggest pack the world's ever seen. So immediately I'm taking offense.
Hello? Uh-oh. That me? Got my Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi cool?
I'm writing Temper. I call him like 6 times. He finally calls me back. He's on the phone with Flip. He puts Flip on the call, and I'm telling him, like, what is this? How are you guys proceeding with this without my knowledge? And they're like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. Like, but thank you. And I'm like, you still have to pay me. And they're like, for what? I'm like, for the IP, for the service marks, da-da-da. Like, You've only known how to do this with my contracts.
Right.
Not to say you can't call it some other shit, not to say you can't hire an attorney to make your own contracts, but they didn't do that. They continue to use beats and features packaging. They continue to use like third-party licensing in their description. They continue to use my contracts to get the artist to sign off to do the packs and to issue my license agreements to the customers who buy it. So literally, I could take the license agreement you have for Benny, put up to mine. It's the exact same thing. I could take the license agreement you might if you bought the Royce and Davies Styles package. It's the same thing. And that was my joke today in my post. There's still, you know how like if you ever copied off a test in high school or some shit, like dude, don't cheat like all the way. Like they
right, little shit.
Copied to a T the distributors and aggregators that I recommend. Like you have to use these because my friends own them. So I make money, my friends make money. That's why people like you should have your own distribution company. Well, then I'd be making all the money, and that's just fucking greedy. I don't want to be the guy at the fucking steakhouse getting the nicest meal, and y'all motherfuckers are staring at me like because you can't afford chicken tenders. Like I'm not doing that. We got to eat together. All right.
I'm with it.
They put in their contracts you can distribute with Revel, Media Famous. This company, Media Famous, 6 months ago was sold to Symphonic for distribution. So there is no Media Famous anymore for distribution. It's wild that they'd have that in there and not even like check. So that's just one example. Like, come on, man. Then some dude gets online like, yo, man, like Flip's my guy and I'm gonna fuck you up. Ain't no way he's stealing from you. I'm like, yes, there's a way. And it's happening.
Yeah,
So my attorney and I write them, this is the amount of money I want if you're going to use my service marks IP, like I'll allow it. I do the same thing for Anno, for Legion Beats, for Wishmaster, for Big Body Beats as the most recent new client. They're launching a pack with like Drake's OVO artists. I think it's supposed to come out this week, but they might have to push it back a week. And they all pay me, whether I brokered features for them or not. You're using my shit. It's like RZA, do you want to put the Wu-Tang W on this album? Give me 10%. Give me X amount of money up front, if so. And there's times, like for instance, when he offered for Ghostface, I thought about it, but ultimately said no because we were doing different covers. So it didn't make sense to go through all this paperwork with Bobby to license the W to put it on an album that we're going to do 500 copies of, then to give them, say, 10% of 50 grand, it's 5 G's. It's like, that's not worth anyone's time. See, but Bobby's never done a limited product like that till recently. They just did like 2,500 of the Bobby Digital. You know, everything's always been mainstream. Like, you know, we're gonna put 100,000 units in retail. Like that's the era they came from. So, you know, I just take issue with the fact that they literally paid me, and whether they thought that they were just paying me to do the job the whole time, and I was including the shit for free or not is irrelevant. But okay, well, we're not paying you anymore. Like, okay, but yet please steal from me as if I'm not going to do anything about it. That's fucking nuts to me. Now, I do, like I said, I have these messages saved. Temper one day wrote me, check your bank. I log on and I have $1,000 from him, and I'm like, what's this for? He's like, you know, for like the next pack launch, and the next pack launch at the time I think was like maybe. I don't remember if it was like Mozzie and Currency or something else. But I'm like, no. He's like, what do you mean no? I went to the bank and literally asked for his wire information. I sent it back. I'm like, you don't get to pick the amount of money, bro. I tell you what it is and we'll work it out together. So I emailed them and I think I asked for like between 7,500 and 10 grand as in advance and like 5 points either of the gross or net. I think gross because again, I didn't want to be subject to them overspending on marketing and shit and losing money. That's very easy to do. Like I remember that fucking ad for the Benny shit was everywhere, bro. Someone told me they were on Pornhub one time, and then oh shit, Benny pop. Yo, like this shit was everywhere. That was the ongoing joke. Like, you are invading people's privacy with these ads. All right, so I sent him $1,000 back, and after that, he just blocked me and flip blocked me and all these like I'm like, that's insane to me. You know you have to pay me. You actually did send me some money thinking that I would just accept it. And then I sent it back, and now you're like, people think that in the internet you just block someone and like all your problems go away. There's a whole reality outside of the internet. You know,
That's funny.
yeah.
And I'm glad that you were the one in charge of the Benny and the Conway stuff, man.
Yes.
Glad for that. And now that I know that that's what you do, then that you'll be my contact person from now on when it comes to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, look, dude, I'm gonna grab my charger in a minute here. The pack we have coming out December 14th is the biggest thing in the fucking world. We make these packs so independent artists can be like, holy shit, like I get these beats to make my album. I get these features to, clearly profit with. It helps them build their social media analytics, their streaming analytics, the whole nine. It looks good on a resume when you're submitting to, like your EPK to labels, distributors. You get to perform the songs, all that shit. This is the first pack we've done that major artists have hit me like, I'm buying this. You're telling me lawfully I could have a song with Big Pun. I can make a song with DMX and put that shit out. Like, I might start rapping again just to make the song with Nate Dogg myself. Like, who wouldn't want this? So the legacy pack, and we reached out. Usually we spend a month or 2 months making these. We did 6 months of preparation on this to get with the estates. Either I owned the vocal already and just didn't want to be a culture vulture, so I want to take care of the estates, or I had to get the vocals from the estate. Like I don't have it. So like that was a big deal and took a lot of time. Some of the, like if I need something from Sean Price, I can go to Bernadette. It's that simple. But like DMX's estate got like fucking 17 heads and 3 different people sitting at the top, and they have their weekly meetings with the attorneys and da-da-da. It's not simple. So I think this pack is gonna fucking crush it. And I'm really looking forward to like ending the year on such a high note.
Yeah, that pack, I seen that. Does that have DMX in it too?
Yeah. The first Legends Volume 1 pack, or Legacy Pack Volume 1, DMX, Nate Dogg, Big Pun, Sean Price, Hussein Fatal. And I can tell you, for 2, we're looking at Nipsey, Prodigy, Big L, Badass. So much shit, dude. But again, we have to have the blessing from the estate. It can't be like, otherwise you're eating off the dead.
Right.
Like,
and like you say, that would be culture vulture.
I could not live in myself otherwise.
They ain't gonna be all over you.
The first thing I did was hit Bernadette because I loved Sean when he was alive. I put Sean on like 7 different records I worked on when he was alive. And Sean would always work with me. You know why Sean loved me? Sean loved me because he hated Dreddy so much. Dreddy put him on Bronze Nazareth's album. He's on the song Fifth Chamber, which is amazing. If you're not familiar, please go listen to Fifth Chamber, Bronze Nazareth from the Great Migration. And Dreddy apparently didn't pay him. So he's like, I know you're going to pay me every time. I'm like, of course, bro. That was coming up one of the best things about me. It didn't matter if you liked me or hated me. If you worked with me, you could never say I didn't pay you. Even on the Pete Rock shit when he was spazzing out. Did M80 pay you? Yeah, but okay, stop. No, there's no but. The answer is yes. So I'm gonna grab my charger real quick. Hold on a quick hot second there. Oh, be right back.
Boy, Zoom don't be playing. They like, bro, you got 2 minutes left. What you gonna do?
I'm back. So yeah, the first thing I did was call Bernadette. What do you need right now? She told me what their rent is or their mortgage. I'm like, let me go knock that out for a few months for you. Let you be, rest easy through the end of the year.
That's dope. That's real dope. So just so I can clarify, like you say, everything with Anno is cool, but it's just you just got some issues with Temper now. Temper and
so we can't work with Temper and flipping them anymore.
Okay.
I'll always work with Anno. He's had my back for the longest. I have a personal relationship with his family, like he does with mine. I was there to see him build his shit from the ground floor, like he did for me. are with, you know, like seeing me build. Anno works with Gabe from Legion Beats. So you know, I've never met Gabe in person, but like, so I know he's one of Anno's people. Anno's done a few packs, and I got again paid every time with Wishmaster. I've never met Wishmaster in person, but I remember I heard he did some business deal that I thought was like a bullshit deal, and called him and like saved him on that one. Like he's like was able to get his money back on it. And then Anno recently referred this guy Big Body Beats in Toronto, and so like it was easy. We talked. I told him what it is. Like, you know, this is what I own. If you want to, him and Anno did a pack that I signed off on that was with the game. So he was doing one on his own, and the guy would, with no question about it, you know, I recognize that you're a new company. I can't ask you to pay me like an arm and a leg. This is what would make me happy. Took care of it the next day.
Dope, dope. So I just want to say, from my personal experience with the Benny the Butcher, the Conway, and the Versus, they have definitely helped me as an artist and helped my company as artists build a following. Everything was legit. I remember I remember when I seen the PRO in there. I'm like, whoa, that's the PRO. Oh, we go. Oh, okay, okay, let me go.
Yep. So I am. Someone asked me that in the comments today. How does the publishing with all this work? Unless you make them sign off all their rights, I've never have. So I've always let the artists keep their publishing. So if it's in a license pack and say 200 people buy it, well, yeah, if they choose to register their songs, then cool. At least you can eat again off the publishing of it. Right. You know, hip hop publishing is different if you're a hip hop artist versus like a mainstream dude, but you know, it's
well,
still
I can definitely see people not registering and stuff like they should. You know what I mean? But I definitely registered because they get 25%. So I definitely registered them. And as well as just another one, we shot a video for the Benny the Butcher one. And it's on his iTunes. It's on his Apple Music page. It's called
in the featured works.
Yep.
Now see, Apple does that, which is cool because I don't think Spotify and Tidal do that. So Apple has a like featured works page.
So we're even on that. You know what I mean? Featuring Benny the Butcher. We had him in the video too because I just chopped up some.
In the video?
Well, you know, I chopped up and put him in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I did ask him about the video. It was a little bit out of my range at the time, so I couldn't go down to Buffalo and get him. But we did put something together, and I did shoot it to him. You know, one thing I can say is, you know, Benny is somebody that, as well as 38. When I reach out to them on DM, they usually hit back. Like they usually be like, "Yo, what you trying to do?" You know what I mean? So definitely,
see, I met Benny first, and instantly knew that he was going to take off. Like I knew with my like, if I use my resources and you just fucking do what you do, we'll be great. And I'm not involved in the internal program he operates now, but I was proud to be a part of it when I was, and really see it take off because I knew.
Right.
Like, bro, I got emails dating back years when I was trying to pitch Westside and Conway. I never even met them, to labels. And of course, the same story you'll hear Westside going. Labels didn't want to fuck with me because of the Hitler wears Hermes shit. You know, it's a lot of like Jewish dudes that I'm not touching this. Like, but okay, look outside of this. Listen to it. You know. But I knew Benny was going to take off, and I'm glad that he did. And I met Spesh through Benny. Spesh reached out to me. I'm coming to LA. I want to meet you. Literally got off the plane. I was at a nightclub in Hollywood, brought his suitcase in the club, and came to my section. And just like his suitcase there, we're sitting down having a drink, talking, and always stayed in touch with me to soak up game. Like, how do you do A&R? How do you do A&R admin? How are you as an executive, like transition from the artist? Because I'm trying to really build trust, you know, TCF. So everything he learned from me, he made work for him. And I stayed on with Trust, handling A&R administration for all these years, from Fred the Godson records to Ito, to the most recent record with Conway the Machine, to projects with him and Benny, to the compilations they do. And, I'm very grateful that I met Spesh. Like, I'm very grateful to meet Benny, and I'm glad that everything's like copacetic on all accounts now.
Yeah, them is two of the hottest in my opinion when it comes to this, when it
Mhm.
comes to these bars,
Mhm.
for real. When it comes to this hip hop shit, the Griselda period, but 38 and Fred the Godson, R.I.P. Fred the Godson, but man, the couple tracks that he did was special. I was like, damn, this guy was fire. So, so yeah, man, I just appreciate you doing those things and helping artists out. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I say, when I seen it, it was it was unbelievable for real. Because I'm like, man,
Mhm.
what? I could get a verse from Benny. Excuse me, hold on,
Mhm.
let me check this out. You know what I'm saying? But when I got it and it was official, I was like, oh, we about to blow.
Yep.
We about
Yep.
to blow up, baby. Flat out. Like we gotta,
And that's the point, dude. Like, if you're looking at it from an artistic angle, I get it where the featured artist would feel it's working against artistic integrity. It's like, I painted this on this canvas. It's
right,
not supposed to be transferred to another canvas. This is the canvas I painted this on.
right.
But for the independent artist, they have all their own unique canvases. And if I hear your song on your album, and that's the whole point of physicals as well. Like, if I buy your CD and I'm listening to it, do you think I'm thinking about where have I heard this verse before? No, I'm just trying to think, is this song dope or not? Like,
Yeah.
now for you, you're releasing it. Is it bettering your streaming numbers? 9 times out of 10, yes. Did you get more monthly listeners from this? Did you get more followers on social media? Yes, and yes. Um, is it something cool to add into? Are you making more money? Yeah. Is it something to add on to your resume? Yes. It's all these. It checks off so many yes.
It checks off so much, man. So
Yes,
much,
as
bro.
an independent artist, that's what you're supposed to care about. Like, are you getting closer to your dream? Are you trying to land the deal? Are you trying to have, like, better leverage when you negotiate a distribution deal or a record deal? All these things should be yes.
Yeah, so once again, I appreciate that. And like I say, we're gonna keep doing it. And from now on, I'm probably gonna hit you first when I see a pack just to see, what you got going over there and make
Thank
sure
you.
I'm getting it from an official spot. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So moving on. Now, I did have a question for you because, like you stated, you are a young Jewish man, and Kanye West said some things a few years of probably about a year or two back. I know you remember what he said about
It's like,
individual.
I love the Jews. The Jews are the coolest of all the peoples. Jews. I'm like, oh shit, Kanye, all right.
Hey, he definitely changes. He definitely changed it. But my thing was, and I mean, this is just perception because
Yeah.
we don't know. You know what I mean? But how did you feel about his comments and the things that he said about?
Dude, on all honesty, I stopped listening to all Kanye West. I sold all my Yeezys, everything. All of them.
Oh, you
Um,
done with him?
I started listening to Kanye West again like 3 weeks ago randomly. I think I was looking for the song "Keep the Receipt" with Old Dirty Bastard,
Hmm.
and then from there I just kept listening to other Kanye songs, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start listening to Kanye again.
Well,
But even when he was in like, oh man, I just watched like 22 Jump Street, like Jonah Hill, you so funny. I love the Jews. Like, I still didn't like, okay, Kanye, and go back and listen. Like, I was, it's different for everyone. Remember, the majority of people have never met this dude. They're just a fan of the music. But when you love someone like that, you feel some kind of connection regardless. I actually met the guy a few times. And I've got to see, like Jadakiss says, I've met like 5 different Kanyes. I've met at least three. I've met like three, and the first two are definitely nothing like you'll ever see if you're just meeting him in the now. Like, the first Kanye I met was like a fucking stand-up comedian, dude. We were in a room backstage at the Murat in Indianapolis with John Legend and Rhyme Fest and da 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 da. and this dude's got everyone fucking crying. He's so funny, like just on it, dude. I remember he made some joke about like, yeah, public enemies for the people, but like, yo, fuck the people. I'm Kanye West, man. I'm trying to get what's mine. Like, he's trying to fight the power, man. I'm just trying to fight my way into some pussy now. Like it was hilarious. What he was talking about, it was awesome. Then I met him at Lollapalooza and took like this very cool photo of him and Andrew Barber, Fake Shore Drive, of them like just embracing each other. And we're talking to Kanye, and he was just, again, super cool, like not a care in the world. And if you watch him, you can kind of see when the transition hit, and that's like after the Amber Rose breakup. He was never the same outgoing, fun Kanye. I think he like felt very vulnerable, like whatever reason, like he had to be closed off to the world and just didn't want to be as like fucking personable. Even through all the bullshit I've been through, I still like being a man of the people.
You think that may have had something to do with him getting with Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians after that?
Oh, of course. I honestly think if he had his way, I don't know anything behind the scenes, like him and Amber Rose seemed like a good thing.
They did.
Like, you got to figure out what makes you happy and rock with it, dude, regardless of what or how people think or feel about it, man.
Right. Well, I do want to touch on something that I heard, and I just want to see if you can verify it. I heard that because when we talk about the Jewish community and Black people, a lot of times they talk about success, right? And I seen around the time that Kanye did his stuff, I started doing a little bit more research on the Jewish community and you guys' religion and stuff like that. So I came across a Jewish guy. I don't remember his name, but he said some things that was kind of unbelievable to me. And I just want, I'm quite sure they're true, but I just want to verify with you.
Okay.
One thing he said that was like unbelievable to me, but I'm quite sure it's true. He said that as a Jewish man or as a person in the Jewish community, he can go anywhere in the world, and if there's a Jewish people or Jewish community there, he has a place to stay and live.
I could see that being true.
Okay.
I mean, if you're availing yourself to like that deep, I mean, typically that's something you'd like. There's three sects. There's Orthodox, there's Reform, and Conservative. I was raised as a conservative Jew, so it's like, I've had a cheeseburger in my lifetime.
Right.
Like Orthodox don't have meat and dairy together,
Okay.
So like, if you're going to like walk into a Jewish community that you've never been a part of and expect like to be treated like, family, you're probably of the Orthodox like sect.
Okay.
You're gonna walk into a synagogue and present yourself as like, the all being. Okay. You're going to go to the Seder. You're going to go, and do like and stay after the services to meet people. Like I'm the exact opposite of that. Like I go to the high holiday services. I went to Hebrew school, Sunday school. I had my bar mitzvah, the whole night. Like I'm a man in the eyes of God. I think if I walked into a random Jewish community, like, hey, can I crash at your place for a week? Like, who are you? Like, that's probably how I'd be treated. But I think that's probably a common, like, accepted fact for people that are of like the Orthodox sect. Like if you ever been in New York and seen like New York Jews, like with the payas, and they wear the garb and stuff, like those are Orthodox Jews.
Orthodox. Okay.
So like those Orthodox Jews, if I'm like, hey guys, can I get a picture with you? I'm Jewish, and I showed them my Star of David, they wouldn't take a picture with me.
Oh, okay, because you're okay. I see what you're saying.
I'm like other, like I'm Jewish to them.
Yeah. What joke. All right, so look, one more question.
I'm like a bastard Jew to them.
ODB.
Dude, something's bugging me. Like one of my plaques is like sideways. Hold on.
Oh, fix that.
I have like an OCD moment.
Fix the plaques, man.
Yeah. All right.
Stop it.
I'm like looking over at the wall, like, okay, we're good.
I'm trying to get my plaques up like you, man. I'm gonna get some plaques up just like you. I'm gonna be like
Dude, can I show you? Like, hold on. Like, this is one of the fucking coolest pieces. Like, that's a poster from an actual concert I did. I'm on it. I know it's hard to see on my shit, but Raekwon, Ghostface, Mobb Deep, and me. And like, I'm actually.
I see your name. I see the name there, bro.
I'm actually like in the middle. Like,
okay. Oh, okay. I see you, but I can't see. You know what I mean?
no,
But
this green piece over here is there's like 10 of these in the world. It's a green vinyl of Cream, but it's signed by RZA to me. It's very, very hard to come by.
Man, I never seen that. I've never seen that.
Yeah, buddy. Man. So there's a couple Wu-Tang keepsakes I saved. I've sold a few, you know, pay some bills here and there and shit.
Did you watch the series?
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I tell you what, Power's character and Divine's character, fucking spot on. Yeah. Like, Power is like that. Divine is like that. Now, the guy who played Divine, he's been in like 100 things. He's been in like Mad Law and Orders and shit.
Right. But no, that was they definitely played the hell out of their parts, man, for real.
Yeah.
Especially even Dave, wasn't that Dave East who played Meth?
Yeah.
Yeah, like even him.
I don't think Meth's ever watched an episode.
Right. No,
there's a few of them who haven't.
Yeah, no, I think Ghostface said he didn't watch any of them.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, once again, I appreciate your time, man. And just to finish up, what advice would you give older, up and coming artists about the music industry and maybe some of the steps they should take to try to make an impact and generate some revenue off of their music?
A lot of this is, it's like trying to teach an old dog new tricks. You know, they say it can't be done. Like, again, I came up with Wu-Tang and Snoop and all these people that are from the golden era. So the golden era ran as a tradition. You make the album. We sell the album in mass bulk. You tour the album. You come back. You make another album. It's like rinse, recycle, repeat type shit.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like that in the now. When I met Benny and knew I wanted to work with Benny, they had never done a project that was over like 500 units. You know, they have like the limited edition West Side vinyl be like 250 pieces, and then they're like 200 CDs and like 100 cassette tapes and shit like that. Finish and move on to the next shit. So I learned that from Huss Kingpin, where not every album drop had to be a fucking home run or a grand slam. If you're creative and making like insane amounts of content, cool. Drop it at your leisure, market it accordingly, set like sales parameters. You know, it'd be great if I could make 10 grand here. And then when you decide to like how you're going to make it and then make it, move on to the next shit. So Huss taught me, like, and essentially the first album I applied that to was Ghostface Lost Tapes. Like, I don't need to press 50,000 CDs and then potentially be sitting on 35,000 if they don't all sell through, and then I lose money. Let's just make what we realistically feel we can and keep it pushing. Okay, hence why we do 7 different colors of vinyl. You might have a Wu-Tang diehard fan that wants to buy them all, or you might just have some fan that wants to buy one. Like, we're catering to whatever we can, but it's in limited quantities. So worst case scenario, if we have extra overhead, we're not hurting the bottom line too much. For an older MC, what you can do, create all the time. You don't have to just make album after album after album. You have to build a base to where you feel like, okay, I can release an album that's going to be well received. I have an artist I've flown to Australia 3 times in the past 13 months to work with. And we work together on a weekly basis via the internet and stuff. But he's recorded so much material. We put out an EP. This is funny, is the EP with him and Bizarre, hence the whole thing with Bizarre. Like, where'd you go? I don't know, from the fucking EP I brokered for you that I dickhead. Like, listen to it perhaps. He did an EP with Bizarre, 1, because he loves D12, and 2, that was like a big deal for him. So that's a nice like pivot point. We're going to eat off Bizarre's fan base. Not trying to make a joke, like whether it's huge or small, like he has a bigger fan base than my artist DZ. Right. So we're eating off that. Now let's take all these songs you've done and split them into an EP series we're going to drop every 60 to 90 days. Now, while we're out there, we started putting these songs together, and I'm like, this would make an incredible album. Okay, so now the plan changes. Let's do a couple EPs, or like a single, a couple EPs, and then the album. And by the time we get to the album, at least we feel like we've given ourselves a fair shot. We can sell, will put some work in, you'll have X amount of videos under your belt, X amount of shows, like maybe some radio, some press history, the whole nine. We've given a fighting chance. Right. Artists that don't feel like, or that just feel like, hey, well, I grew up just like the artist would make an album, drop it, like that's what I'm going to do. But again, they're not considering the marketing, the ads, the PR, the radio resources, all the stuff that goes into what you do after you complete the album. It's called the definition of insanity when you just repeat and expect different results. So therefore, really create the music and come up with a program, and that's going to suit you the best. So if you're able to drop monthly, weekly, whatever it is, like singles and stuff like that, good, because the point is you're trying to build your social media analytics. When labels, they pull what's called a hype report or a buzz report, they're looking at how long has this guy been popping. Okay, let's check out his YouTube page. Are we seeing stats rise, or are we seeing a lot of this? So a lot of times I'll tell people that have older social media pages or YouTube pages, delete them, save all the shit, and re-upload it. Okay, so if we see your page is 6 months old, but every week you drop content, we're seeing the rise, that's what labels want to see. Okay. They feel they come in, sign you, and provide the machine that's just going to continue. They don't want to like do the roller coaster with you. No one wants to. I love roller coasters. I'll do with you. So
it made it.
That's the point, is like having a plan, and just know you don't have to just make an album, throw it out, and be like, damn, I spent all my fucking money doing this. Now what? If you're doing it single by single, even an EP could just be like 3 songs or up to 7 or whatever. Making enough of those to build, to let the fan base build with you. A lot of people skip the step of having a fan base. If you're looking at social media analytics, they say on average, and at best, 10% of whatever your follower count is are the people supporting you. So look at it that way. If you have 10,000 people, at best, 1,000 people are going to buy this product. Is that enough to make profit for you, to make it worth the expenditures of recording, paying for production? Another reason why the packs are so beneficial. Bro, if I could have made my albums back in the day and only spent like $300-400 to have all these beats and features, come on. I paid Kill Priest $1,000 for the first time we were in the studio working together. Dreddy this, Rhyme Fest this. Like, I'm into my projects for at least $10K every time as an independent dude. And I'm working at McDonald's, I'm working at a pizza place, I'm working at a tanning fucking salon, like random odd jobs. I was a maintenance man also at the same time as the student body president at IU. Like, I got made fun of like a motherfucker. But I had it's like, the teachers have cubicles. I have my own office. Like, when I'm not in class, I'm sleeping on my couch. They ain't even got couches. Like, whatever. It was cool for me. But that's the whole thing. People want to operate just on what they know and what they've been taught, and you have to relearn. You have to teach your brain something new and proceed under a whole different guise.
Right. Well, you know what, man? That was definitely the information that I know everybody was trying to hear. Everybody was looking for. As well as, man, this has been a great interview.
Thank you.
Maybe, man.
And remind fans of what I agreed to do this for. So I don't think I was bullshitting.
Right.
Pizza, wings, 2 liter.
Look, and I'm like, how am I going to get this to you? How am I going to get this pizza and this 2 liter to you, bro?
I will take a cash app.
And I got a hoodie for you, too, man. Got a hoodie for you.
Oh, I want that.
What size hoodie you wear?
XL.
XL? Yeah, I got a hoodie here for you too, man. So
I tell you what, then I'll just take the hoodie.
When you back in the city, man.
What city?
In Ohio. When you back in?
Shit. It'll be in the new year.
In the new year.
In
LA to the new year.
Mm-hmm. My only other trips to Seattle for Nicole's family. We try to trade off holidays, but she's got it this year.
All righty. Well, look, man, I'll get your address and I'll ship it to you. All right. Sir. But once again, man, I really appreciate your time, man. I really appreciate you stopping by and giving us all this knowledge. And I do expect to have another interview with you as well, man. I want to do this again.
Man. Yeah,
as well as, man, I'm gonna be calling you, bro. Like, I'm gonna be DMing you and hitting you up, man.
As you can, dude, you can attest firsthand. I'm pretty accessible.
Yes, you are. And I'm going to be hitting you up, man, because I got some questions too. Okay, definitely. got some questions and some minutes.
My wife's saying she's gonna put the baby down, so I'm gonna go on quiet mode and take the computer in the other room. I gotta do some contract work for some companies in Europe.
All
so
right,
I'm gonna
bro.
have some dinner and do that shit.
All right, man. Well, you have a good night, man. I really appreciate your time, man. And once again, M80, the almighty M80, extraordinaire, A&R extraordinaire. We appreciate you stopping by, man. Make sure you guys like, comment,
you won't believe who's calling me right now.
Who?
It's Kanye. Hold on. What's that, Ye? Shout out the Jews? All right, I'll tell them. Yo, Squire Taste Media, Kanye says shout out the Jews. And thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Let's go. Appreciate the love, man. Peace.
Peace.